I know I am not the only one who had to put their phone away not only once while reading Jinx, because otherwise I would have thrown it away, because of how much Jaekyung annoyed me. On first look, he is obviously a red flag, with his rude and disrespectful behavior and all acting like a spoiled brat. But is he the only red flag existing in Jinx manhwa? So what is Jaekyung like? On a deeper level and apart from his obvious attitude, we already know that he has a rough, powerful, and intense persona, and his profession as a MMA fighter demands aggression, resilience, and an uncompromising attitude. Jaekyung is often intense, blunt, and somewhat distant, with a tendency toward a dominating and aloof attitude. He has little patience for small talk or pleasantries, and his interactions with others are often direct and sometimes abrasive. Jaekyung's personality is a product of both his personal drive and his commitment to his career, which leaves him with little interest in building friendly relationships. Jaekyung exerts power physically and emotionally, using his strength and status to influence those around him, often without compromise. This dominance aligns with his role in MMA and reflects his need for control in various areas of his life. For example, always being the best, controlling what food he consumes, or with whom he is around. His interactions with Kim Dan reflect his belief in asserting control to get what he wants. Not to mention a lot of mates fearing him. I assume he has no friends or is not close to family members, if existent. Jaekyung has a jinx that complicates his otherwise commanding life, showing that even he has weaknesses he struggles to handle. This vulnerability adds a hidden layer to his character, revealing that his dominance might be covering deeper insecurities or fears about his career and identity. I wonder what triggered those fears and insecurities. What was his past like that he become like a cold and distant person who seems to only be success-driven? If you got any theories, I would love to hear them in the comments. In contrast to Jaekyung, Heesung does not seem as bad as Jaekyung, well, on first glance in my opinion. Choi Heesung, in contrast, is an actor, giving him a more polished and charming public image. His profession requires charisma, adaptability, and a degree of affability, as he must appeal to a broad audience. Heesung's work environment emphasizes social skills and public relations more than physical dominance, which suits his sociable, approachable nature. Heesung, in contrast to Jaekyung, exercises influence more through charm and subtlety. Rather than overtly asserting power, he uses a softer, social approach, playing into his strengths as an actor. This style gives him a level of adaptability and possibly a more hidden side, allowing him to navigate different situations with ease while maintaining a positive public image. Also, he might be able to assume what the person in front of him wants to hear to get them on his side. He can adapt to different situations and people, sly as a fox, if you ask me. Heesung doesn't have an equivalent, overt vulnerability, at least as far as revealed in the story, making him appear more controlled and perhaps calculated in comparison to Jaekyung. However, as an actor, his career depends heavily on public perception, which may ultimately expose his own fragilities as the story progresses. Perhaps some vulnerabilities might be exposed if we get more of Heesung's and Yoongu's side story. We already saw that Heesung indeed manipulated our adorable potato without a blink of an eye and without shame. What do you think? Comment. So what does that mean? While Jaekyung is obviously a red flag so far, Heesung's behavior is more subtle and not too suspicious. He does indeed have a manipulative and cunning side that gives him a sly as a fox vibe in Jinx. Unlike Jaekyung, who is more direct and physically dominant, Heesung wields his charm and social skills to subtly influence situations and people around him. This quality makes him a different type of threat or complication in the story. Heesung's ability to charm those around him isn't just about being friendly, it's a calculated effort that he uses to further his own goals. His affable personality helps him mask any ulterior motives, allowing him to move through the social scene with ease. Heesung has a knack for keeping his true intentions under wraps. He often comes across as friendly and approachable, but this can be a facade that he uses to gain the trust or cooperation of others. This side of him adds a layer of complexity and can make others underestimate him, as they may not immediately recognize the more self-serving aspects of his character. So, in summary, Heesung uses superficial friendliness, subtle manipulation, and underlying self-interest to get what he wants with a psychological approach rather than Jaekyung, who uses raw violence and dominance. This might also be related to emotional intelligence, while Jaekyung has apparently lower emotional intelligence, focusing more on practical, immediate solutions rather than considering the emotional or psychological impact of his actions on others. Heesung displays higher emotional intelligence, understanding how to navigate social situations and read people effectively. This enables him to manipulate situations to his advantage in a way Jaekyung cannot. Jaekyung and Heesung's differing behaviors are shaped by their environments, careers, and personalities. Jaekyung's direct, aggressive nature aligns with his physical, high-stakes world of MMA, while Heesung's manipulative and charming demeanor reflects the socially demanding world of entertainment. These differences create a natural contrast between the two, highlighting their unique approaches to achieving power and control. Please don't get me wrong, I am not defending Jaekyung by any means, because he has treated Kim Dan and many others like trash, since he is not afraid to use violence. But also, I am not a big fan of Heesung either. So what do you think? Is Heesung innocent, or also guilty with his behavior? Let me know in the comments.